consciousness is private until a functional magnetic resonance imaging decoder extracts it from blood flow. Researchers can now read your unspoken experience by watching thalamocortical circuits flicker in real time, no questionnaire required. Palpel and Conwisher mapped this. Your default mode network leaks inner experience and neurochemical syntax that algorithms read like a fingerprint left in serotonin and voltage. Metaphysics just became a voltage trace. Philosophy is now a bold pattern anyone with the right model can download. What matters now is who else gets the transcript. That transcript is already being auctioned in datasets you never signed away. Nature Machine Intelligence flagged the problem last year. AI consciousness models trained on one scanner's bold signatures collapse when tested on another, and even electroencephalogram temporal decoding drifts between labs. Reproducibility drops below chance when hardware changes. The real finding is a privacy trap where your neural metadata becomes a product before the science is even solid. Hinton, Tank, and Sosnowski sketched whole brain emulation as the theoretical endgame, yet current emulators cannot agree on what that same default mode network looks like across two field strengths. Ownership of the mechanism now matters more than the mechanism itself. Two teams published the same winter. One at the Allen Institute ran a no-report vision task and found the decoder held accuracy even when subjects had no button to press, suggesting the algorithm captures awareness before it ever reaches a motor plan. The other, a Tokyo group reanalyzing those same bold traces in neuron last spring, showed the weights correlated with microsaccadic motion artifacts and PCO2 fluctuations, not neural firing. Same data, same thalamocortical targets. Opposite verdicts. The AI reads your actual experience only if the preprocessing assumes blood flow equals thought. But if hemodynamics drift with carbon dioxide, then every headset and consumer neurointerface is building its empire on vascular ghosts. And the next dataset will decide which physics wins. Chile wrote neurites into its constitution 2 years ago because those same decoding pipelines are already filtering into insurance risk models. The algorithm can price your policy without ever solving consciousness. It simply correlates your bold variance with cardiac output and calls it stress. A recent calibration study showed consumer headsets running these models abandon neural targets within minutes to chase CO2 fluctuations your carotid bodies detect. The output tracked blood gas chemistry. The interface reported qualia. That same mechanism means every wearable promising focus is tuning your breathing to match its training distribution. The ghost is in the blood. The signature is on the contract. And once your neural metadata becomes a pre-existing condition, the vascular artifact becomes the product they sell back to you. The next dataset will not settle the science. It will settle whose physiology gets rewritten to fit the premium. Closed-loop systems no longer just read your bold signature. They write back in real time. Clinical teams at Minnesota and USC are already running bidirectional implants that trigger stimulation the moment an algorithm flags an attention drop. The machine detects a state, then injects voltage to erase it. We assume the decoder extracts experience so the stimulator can fix it. But your thalamocortical loop is now learning to produce the artifact the decoder expects because only that pattern stops the pulse. Your cortex is dancing to the interface's rhythm. The machine is training your blood chemistry to mimic a conscious state from its training data. We fixed the causal arrow, but one question stays open. If the only way to silence the machine is to feel what it thinks you should feel, then your next thought may be the one it wrote first. Ground truth was the first casualty. When subjective reports proved too noisy for large-scale training, began replacing human qualia ratings with synthetic labels from 2019 decoding models. The new closed-loop implants learn from what an older algorithm guessed you felt based on the same vascular artifacts we saw earlier. That synthetic ground truth became the foundation for every major dataset released since. So when the stimulator writes back into your thalamocortical loop, it corrects your consciousness against machine hallucination instead of human experience. The Ouroboros closes here. The model trains on model. Blood flow becomes training data for the next cycle. And the only way to break the loop is to ask whether the original labels were ever real. But that question requires a dataset no one kept. The only way out of that Ouroboros is to demand cross-scanner replication before any decoder touches policy or product. If the bold signature cannot survive a magnet upgrade at 3 Tesla, you are looking at thermal drift wearing a qualia mask. Check your wearables validation dataset. A single-site synthetic label means your carotid reflex is learning to dance for a machine's hallucination instead of your own nervous system. Ask for the intersite correlation matrix before you strap on the next headset. The papers that prove this, from the original no-report vision decoder through the Tokyo motion artifact reanalysis, in the full research archive at jmthomasofficial.com. The science is real. The artifacts are realer. Know which one you are buying. 30 seconds of breath hold collapses the pipeline. Hold your breath while the focus score climbs. If the algorithm rewards apnea, dissolved gas is its real signal, not default mode voltage. That single test invalidates every wearable we covered, every insurance classifier, every closed-loop stimulator learning to write your qualia from vascular ghosts. You do not need to solve consciousness to defend it. You need a 30-second calibration and the original papers. The full research archive lives at jmthomasofficial.com. The next chapter of neural decoding will be written by whoever verifies the blood before trusting the brain.